The Bible does not provide us with names of many characters mentioned in it. We know something of their backgrounds and circumstances, but their actual names are not disclosed. Some of these unknown people played important roles in biblical stories, and many Jewish and Christian writers have felt the need to give them names. These books have more to do with the imaginations of their authors than actual history accuracy. Number 10. Cain's wife. If we read Genesis 4:17 with a different mind, we will inevitably notice that the identity of Cain's wife is a puzzle. Until then, there were only four people in the world: Adam, Eve, Abel, and Cain. So, who is Cain's wife, and where does she come from? The Hebrew Bible remains silent on this. The answer is found in the book of Jubilees, an apocryphal work possibly dated to the 2nd century BC. In chapter 4, verse 1 and 9, we learn that this woman was named Ivan and that she is Cain's younger sister. And in the third week in the second Jubilee, Eve gave birth to Cain, and in the fourth she gave birth to Abel, and in the fifth she gave birth to her daughter, Ivan. Number 9. Noah's wife. In Genesis 7, Noah's wife is mentioned, but no name is provided for her. The book of Jubilees 4:33 tells us her name is Emzara. The Genesis Rabbah, another non-biblical text dating to the 300 to 500 AD period, provides us with a different name for Noah's wife, Naamah. There are many other non-biblical works that mention different names for Noah's wife. In total, we have more than 100 names recorded. Number 8. Moses' stepmother. Exodus 2:10 tells us when Moses was floating helplessly in a basket on the Nile, he was rescued by the Pharaoh's daughter while she was bathing. This woman is not mentioned in the Bible despite the fact she turned out to be an important character. She becomes Moses' adoptive mother. Although her name is mentioned in several texts outside the Bible, these different sources are consistent with each other. Some Jewish extra-biblical accounts identify this woman as Bethia. In chapter 27 of the 4th century book named Evangelica, she is named Maris. Number 7. The wise men. Neither the names nor the number of wise men who visited Jesus is disclosed in the Gospel of Matthew. Western tradition says that there were 3 wise men based on the number of gifts that they brought to Jesus: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. The names of the 3 wise men are mentioned in the work called Exceptra Latina Barbaria, dated to c. 6th to 8th century AD. In the original version, the names are Bitisera, Melchior, and Gataspa. Later tradition changed their name to Balthasar, Melchior, and Gaspar. Christian Western tradition goes even further by assigning each of the wise men a cultural background: Balthasar from Arabia, Melchior from Persia, and Gaspar from India. Number 6. Children in the Gospels. There are a number of nameless children mentioned in the Gospels. Matthew 18:2 reads, "And Jesus called a little child unto him, and set him on the midst of them." The book of the Bee identifies this child as Ignatius, who later became the bishop of Antioch. In Mark 10:13-14, we read that some children were brought to Jesus, so that Jesus should touch them, and his disciples rebuked those that brought them. The book of the Bee identifies these children as Timothy and Titus, and adds that both children became bishops when they grew up. Number 5. The woman who seeks Jesus' help. In Matthew 15:22-28, we read the story of a woman from Canaan who asked Jesus to save her daughter who was possessed by a demon. This same story is presented in Mark 7:25-30, but this time the woman is presented as Syrophoenician. Neither version of the story discloses the woman's name. A 3rd century text known as the Pseudo-Clementine says that the woman who asked for Jesus' help was named Justa, and her daughter's name was Berenice. In the end, Jesus casts the demons out, and Berenice is found recovered in her own bed. Number 4. The mother of a dead man. Luke 7:11-15 recounts an episode in the city of Nain, where Jesus brings back a life of a dead man who's being carried on his bier. The widowed mother of the dead man is among the crowd, and her name is not disclosed in the Gospel. Her identity is provided by an ancient book known as the Coptic text on Christ's resurrection, where we read that the woman's name was Leah, Aleah. Interestingly, the authorship of this text is ascribed to Bartholomew, one of Jesus' apostles. Number 3. The robbers crucified next to Jesus. During the crucifixion, the Gospel of Matthew 15:27 reports that two thieves were crucified on either side of Jesus. In Luke 23:39 to 43, we can even read a short conversation between Jesus and a thief. One thief, usually known as the bad thief, demands of Jesus, "If thou be Christ, save thyself and us." The other thief, the good one, asks Jesus to remember me when thou comest into thy kingdom. The names of these characters are not provided in the Bible. Several extra biblical sources offer us different versions of their name. An apocryphal text known as the Act of Pilate refers to them as Justus and Dimas. Number 2. The soldier who pierced Jesus' side. In John 19, when the Roman soldiers attempted to break the legs of Jesus while he was hanging on the cross, they noticed that he was already dead. One of the soldiers pierced Jesus' side, as mentioned in John 19:34. The name of this Roman soldier is not mentioned in the Bible. The apocryphal Acts of Pilate tells us the name of the soldier was Longinus. The spear is also known as the Holy Lance. Interestingly, Christian tradition claims that the Holy Lance was discovered during the First Crusade in Syria. The story of this relic is confusing, and today there are many relics that are said to be Holy Lands. One of these is well preserved at Rome at St. Peter Basilica. Number 1. The soldiers who guarded Jesus' tomb. In Matthew 27:65, Pilate agrees to assign a group of guards to watch over the tomb of Jesus to ensure that his body is not stolen. The name of the gods are not disclosed by Matthew. The apocryphal Gospel of Peter, dated to the 2nd century BC, does not provide the names of all soldiers involved in this task, but it tells us the guards were supervised by a Roman centurion named Petronius. The Book of the Bee presents two versions on how many guards were watching over Jesus' tomb. In chapter 24, there were 5 guards in total, who were named Issachar, Gad, Matthias, Barnabas, and Simon.
Thanks to our Patreon supporters, Alex Fedursky, Daniel Fisher,